My name is Derrick Williams.
Derrick Williams, and
Yes.
you are a worker, a hospital worker.
Yes, ma'am.
What do you do in hospital?
I'm actually a sterile processing technician.
Sterile processing technician.
Yes, ma'am.
And what does that look like?
Okay, for those who may not know, the sterile processing technician is the person that you don't see in your surgical care. Anytime that you are having any surgical procedure whatsoever, you're going to the operating room. Well, the operating room technicians, the doctors, they are going to need sterile surgical instrumentation to do what they need to do on you. Well, those instruments need to be cleaned, reprocessed, and sterilized and brought back up to the OR. That's my job. So I sterilize instrumentation, decontaminate them, so when any bioburden that may come after the surgical procedure, I'm to clean those instruments. We're going to reprocess them, put them in sterile containers, autoclave them, which means we'll put them at around 270 degrees for a period of time. At that point, they're considered sterile, and then we transport those instruments back to the OR to be reused again.
Now, did they make you have a COVID shot?
They actually did want us to have COVID shots. However, I was smart enough and wise enough, in my estimation, to get a religious exemption. But many of my colleagues, they didn't even look into it. It never even dawned on them.
All right, and so what's your story about today? Is it about you, your child, or the hospital environment?
Well, I have three separate stories, and I'm going to try to condense it in the interest of time. At a hospital that I previously worked at, when I first got there, and I should say I'm going to name drop. I actually Steve Kirsch, who's head of the Vaccine Research Safety Foundation, he gave out a survey to hospital workers, and just to say your stories of what you saw in the hospitals. Well, in my case, when I first took on this first job, what I noticed, it was never anything over the PA system. But then starting in the summer of 2021, I'm going to say from July until I left in November, I would hear pretty much all day, stroke alert, stroke alert, stroke alert. And
Stroke alert.
Stroke alert. And that's something that you hardly ever hear. You will hear periodically, well, crash team to 2A or whatever, something like that, where someone would code, they would have a heart incident or cardiac event, and you would have a specialized team to go to that room to tend to the patient. But in this case, you would hear stroke alert every day, all day, to the point that it was sickening. And so when Steve Kirsch gave out this survey, I relayed that to him. Well, I'm going to name drop again. I like to fell out of my seat when he relayed that story to Alex Jones, because I knew he was talking about the story that I sent to him. But this actually happened, and I would imagine it's still going on at this facility that I left. But I wanted to talk about a young child that died in 2015. Her name is Jalea. She was a 4-month-old child down in Tennessee, and she died after taking 7 vaccines during a well visit. Now, as the story turns out, and her story is still online for anyone to find, as it turns out, the mother, under duress, gave her the 7 shots because they wanted to keep up with the schedule. Now, here in Philadelphia, there's a guy at Children's Hospital of Philadelphia named Dr. Paul Offit. This guy says that you can take 10,000 vaccines in one sitting. Who on earth would do that? And it's my understanding that the Health Ranger, Mike Adams, actually challenged him and was going to pay $25,000 if he would take the 10,000 shots. He declined. And when Jalea's mother took her to the well visit, after that she started developing knots on her knees and legs and at the injection site. Well, as it turns out, when she was going to tend to the child, if you read further into her story, the part that hit me is that when the mother picked the child up, it was some black goo that was emanating from this girl's ears, just oozing out of her ears, and she's no longer with us. In South America, there was a case where you had a school of girls, and they were given the Gardasil shot. And this is important because I have an 18-year-old daughter. Well, at 13, they wanted to give my child the Gardasil shot, but I showed my daughter the video of the girls in South America. As it turns out, all of them were injected with the Gardasil shot, and many of them about an hour or so later started convulsing, all in mass. And I said, not my daughter, not mine. You first, not mine. And so this is where I am. I'm just a simple guy from Greenville, Mississippi, But I just always thought it was it, and I'm also ex-military. I was a hospital corpsman. I thought it was just more than just going to the job and performing the task. I actually want to understand the science of medicine. I've had the privilege of delivering 7 children. I've seen gunshot wounds. I've seen cleft palates. I've seen breast augmentations. I had the privilege of well, not the privilege, but I've seen amputations live. I've had the chance to hold a beating heart in my hand. The surgeon just said, "Here, Derrick," and I had a heart beating in my hand, and they are not red like on Valentine's Day. They're gray. So it's a science to it. But with that science, I also understand the dark side of it. I know how the sausage is made, and somebody has to say something. And I guess lastly, I would say I had a YouTube channel, and at my peak, I had 3,000 subscribers. And at the time I had my 3,000 subscribers, I had more than Dr. Rashid Buttar. Rest in peace. I saw him and he took off like a meteor after he started talking about the mandated product. And much of the information that I got from him, Children's Health Defense, Dell Bigtree, salute to Dell Bigtree, Dr. Sherry Tenpenny, I saw the Vaxxed screening here in Philadelphia, and I just know stuff. And so I just thought that, especially with the black community, the reason why I mentioned Jalea Turner's story is because not too many people, in my view, have not spoken, or many black people have come forward with their stories, and you having this
Why is that?
It's a stigma that we have. And again, I know how the sausage is made. We don't trust the establishment because of what has gone on, with the Tuskegee experiment, the 1989 measles experiment that they did out in California and things like that. And so we don't trust. And so being that we're not represented to our liking, why would we tell our stories? Well, I don't feel like that. We should talk. That's one of the reasons why we have the problems that we have in our community, in my estimation, along with just the self-hate and all the stuff that come with that. But no one is really sharing their stories on CHD from what I'm seeing. So my plea to any black people who may see this, y'all gotta talk, man. Y'all gotta talk. These stories are important. And so that's pretty much my story. Again, I'm just a simple guy from Mississippi, ex-military, but I just always thought it was more than just going and performing the job. You have to do more.
And tell them we're not the establishment. We're just a bunch of people that have got hurt kids that are traveling around.
I know about Miss Polly's stories. My understanding, she has at least a 20-year-old son with autism. So this is near and dear to her heart. I don't have anybody that was vaccine injured in my family, but I see all these stories. And so if you call yourself a citizen of the world, or a compassionate person, or even a religious, spiritual type person, how these stories don't touch you? You have to say something. And so when they took my YouTube channel, I was hurt. But then again, I go on various stream yards with people that I know on YouTube, and no one's talking. Some of the very people that I was very cool with on YouTube, they would go live and say, I'm getting my shot. I'm taking my shot. I don't hear from any of these people now. Ain't nobody talking. No one is talking about whether or not the shot was beneficial or detrimental. It's just like as if nothing happened. So my thing has always been, so I'm kind of poking fun. Where's that energy now? Y'all was so giddy about taking the shot. Derrick is crazy. Little did you know that I'm getting my information from, again, Dell Bigtree, Miss Polly, CHD, Robert Kennedy, Rashid Buttar, Joseph Mercola, the Health Range. I'm getting my information from the people who turned out to be right. And I've thus found Dr. David Martin, rest in peace to Dr. Zell Selenko and others. It's just Ryan Cole. It's just so many. The only African American that I'm aware of is Christina Parks. But all these people turn out to be right. Where y'all at now? I don't see the energy. That's pretty much my story right there.
Do you still work in hospital?
I'm in a healthcare facility. I'll put it that way.
All right,
I'm still in the medical field in Philadelphia. Yes, ma'am.
So if you see anything you want the world to hear about, will you contact us and we'll stick you on the Good Morning Show?
Yes, ma'am. I have no problem.
We need to be doing that. And everyone else listening out there, if you're seeing something you want the world to see, we have to become the media. Because the media is bought.
And the funniest thing is that I always, I'm still connected to people on YouTube. I always say that for all intents and purposes, it has turned into a de facto TMZ. No one is talking about it in my view. This is just me. No one is talking about anything that matters. I mean, I'm not hearing anybody in my circles say anything about all them people that just got killed over there in the Gaza Strip. I ain't hearing nobody say nothing about Fauci being gone, or the fact that they are now trying to aerosolize the skies with mRNA vaccines. None of that. Ain't nobody talking. But everybody's talking about Deion Sanders and stuff that don't matter. I mean, I like football and basketball like the next man, but I mean, we got to be deeper than that. That's all. You know, I don't want to preach to nobody. None of that. Like I said, I'm just trying to make my way in the world and raise my daughter. Me and Shirley. I'm just trying to raise my daughter in a proper fashion, man. That's all I'm about. I'm just a regular guy.
You're a great person. I love this interview. I love your energy.
Respect.
So thank you so much, and we hope to hear more from you as time goes on.
Yes, ma'am.
Keeping us up to date what's going on, and I know our viewers